So my name is Jeroen Roding, and I'm a community manager at Guerrilla Games. Uh, yeah, I mean, we always created Killzone games, which were like kind of corridor games, and then Shadowfall was a little bit more open in terms of space that you can explore. So for us, it was obviously challenging to create an open world game, but I think that we wanted to challenge ourselves. We when this idea appeared, we fell in love with it because it was so fresh and so new. And for us, we wanted to create this, and so we set everything aside and just focused on it and made it happen. Yeah, yeah. There are human enemies. There are some bandit camps within the game that you can tackle, and there will be other humanoid enemies as well. Combat will change because the machines do ask from you as a player to do something different. You need to think different because these machines are highly equipped. They're super agile in terms of their attacks, and you really need to come up with new tactics in order to tackle these machines. And for the humanoid combat, it's different because they will respond differently towards all of your the things that you do as a player. Um, yeah, there is a difference between how you would approach the different settings or the different types of enemies. So for inspiration wise, I think it started in 2010. We just wrapped up Killzone 3, and there was a large part of the team was already on Killzone Shadowfall at that time, developing that. And we wrote out a company-wide pitch to people like, so what shall we do next? So we I think we got around 40 ideas in, and we presented those to management team and some key people within the studio. And one of those ideas was came from Jan Bart van Beek, who is our art director, our studio art director, and he came up with Horizon. And obviously it changed over time a little bit, but within that pitch of his, there was already the nature that reclaimed Earth after civilization had fallen, and the big machines that were roaming around in that world, and our red-headed heroine Aloy was already in there. And Jan Bart, his inspiration came from a large part of like documentaries that he watched. Like, what would happen if civilization would be gone? How would Earth look like? So if you look at the Roman Empire, for instance, all of the buildings that are now ruins, they would have still been standing if it wasn't for humans. If humanity would have fallen at that moment, they wouldn't take building blocks of those buildings and started building other buildings. They would just stay intact, and they would gradually over time would kind of disappear, or they would still be standing there. And with that idea, we started looking at like, what is Earth now, and how would it look like if you would set it 1,000 years into the future? How would the buildings be standing? Would they still be standing? How would certain elements be? How would nature have taken over? That sort of stuff. Another thing is that inspiration came from a quote from Einstein. He said, I don't know how World War III is going to be fought, but I do know World War IV is going to be fought with sticks and stones. Because World War III would have this big cataclysm that would wipe out humanity, that we would be propelled back to the Stone Ages. And that was another facet of it. Like, so how would that Earth that then look like in that case? So that's where the majority of our inspiration came from. So no, so it is set on Earth. I won't disclose the exact location, but that's something for the players to find out once they start playing. There are some certain landmarks in there that you can easily recognize, and you can pinpoint which location this is taking place. Yeah, and Aloy grew up, is brought up by a machine hunter named Rost, who took care of her. She doesn't have a mother, she doesn't have a father, so she's kind of looking that's one of her driving forces to seek out what's going on in the world, but also with herself. But Rost brought her up in as an outcast, so they're both outcasts, and they're being shunned by the tribe that live close by, which is the Nora tribe, which is a tribe that has motherhood in high regards. The matriarchs, they are the ones that are kind of leading that whole tribe, and they live in an area which is kind of secluded and is safe from the big machines, because they have this whole mountain range around them that keeps the bigger machines out, and they call that mother's heart. Oh, sorry, mother's embrace. And that's your safe haven, basically. But Aloy wants to know more. She's very curious, and she's obviously hardened by the upbringing of Rost in the nature. So she's somebody who doesn't take lightly to superstition, for instance. She wants to know that's the truth, and she's willing to go a whole length to find out that truth. Well, 4K checkerboard rendering being one. So if you have a 4K TV screen, you would obviously benefit from the 4K checkerboard rendering, and HDR. So it's hard to explain that. You really need to see it. But once you turn on HDR, the lights are so much more brighter than what you're used to. So those are the most significant benefits of having it on a Pro. Yeah, right now for us it's just we're focused on this game. It needs to ship. It needs to be in the stores for everybody, and whatever's in the future that's written in the stars. There might be some Easter eggs you would find in Horizon Zero Dawn. Right now we are fully focused on Horizon, and that's something that we're focused on right now. The Kojima team, they're using our Decima engine for their game Death Stranding, and it's a close collaboration between the two. We share a lot of knowledge over back and forth, basically. And yeah, we are going to open up like a sort of a Depa dance here internally. We will have a couple of their coders or their tech guys sitting here in the studio. That's more beneficial for them because they are closer to the people they want to ask questions to, and we can learn a lot from them, and they can learn a lot from us as well.